Hi guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be reviewing the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. And before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do upload a new video every Friday. And also, I will be leaving timestamps down below in the description box for the swatches, the eye demo, and then the Eyecredible brush set that I will be reviewing in this video. So if you want to skip ahead, definitely check the description box out to get those timestamps. So let's just get right into the video. Alright, so the palette details. The Jaclyn Hill palette will cost you $38. So that will cost you $1.08 per pan. The palette is almost double the amount of a regular Morphe palette. For example, like the 35O, that will run you $20 to $22 if you use a code. It just depends. So when you purchase the palette, it will come in the box like this. It has her name on it and it looks just like this on the palette as well. And then on the back, it actually has like a picture of her with her like signature red hair, and then it has like a cute little paragraph. It also does have, I guess, what I think would look like kind of a serial number, but it says JH2, which I'm thinking maybe it's the batch 2 of the eyeshadows made, because I did purchase mine on the second release, so that's my assumption on JH2. You do get like a little card slip, and it says, and it basically gives you all the names of the shadows. On the back it has a picture of her, and then just like product information, like where you can find Morphe's website and everything. And then when you actually get the palette, as you can see, it looks just like the box. It says the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's in silver, very mirrored silver, and then it has Morphe right down here. And on the back, I really like that it has the Morphe times Jaclyn Hill, and then it has little JHs all around it, which I think just gives it an extra touch. And then at the top you do have your serial code. First, let's get into the swatches. So let's get on to the demo. Alright guys, so for the portion of the video, I'm just going to have the card with the shades of the palette on the side. That way you can refer to what shade I'm using instead of having to pick up the palette every time. So I've already went ahead and primed my lids, and now I'm just going to set them with a beige shadow that matches my skin tone. I usually grab the Morphe times Kathleen Lights palette and then the second shade right here. And I'm just grabbing this on a Morphe M173. So the first shade I'm using in the palette is the shade Creamsicle, and I'm going to be using a fluffy brush to put that all over my crease. And going in with Pukey, the second shade on my crease, I'm just going to apply that below Creamsicle. With a Wet n Wild brush, I'm going to be using the shade Hunts, and I'm applying that in my inner corner and outer corner of my eyelid because I'm going to create a spot eye. So I'm just going to be using the Sephora Creamy Concealer in Barbarian Cream. And I'm just going to pop this in the center of my lid because I want the neck shadow to pop more, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to pop that on my finger. For the center of the eyelid, I'm going to be using the shade Sissy. Alright guys, so I'm back with my face. I'm going to be finishing up the lower lash line and the inner corner. And for the lower lash line, I'm going to be going in with the shade Pool Party with the Morphe small kind of tapered angled brush. And I'm just going to go hit that color straight in my lash line. For the inner corner shade, I'm going to be going in with the Morphe small tapered brush. Look how small this brush is, guys. I'm mixing these shades in light and beam together to get my inner corner highlight. Alright guys, so this is the completed look. As you can see, I did not add any falsies or eyeliner because I wanted the eyeshadow to really just stand out. So I just went ahead and went in with my favorite mascara, which is the Maybelline The Colossal Big Shot Mascara. So yeah, this is how the eyes look. Basically reminds me of a sunset over the ocean. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick look with the palette. For the review portion of the video, I just want to go ahead and mention the cons of the palette. I put this in air quotes because I don't really see or have any cons with this product in particular. I just want to mention them because I know a lot of people have kind of made a slight controversy over the palette, but to me they're not really that big of a deal, so I'm just going to go ahead and say them in the beginning of the review. That way we can end on a positive note. So I know a lot of people were bummed out that the names of the shadows weren't on the actual palette. If you can see here, the shadows names aren't actually printed on them, but to make up for that, Jaclyn did include this little card right here that says all the names of the shades, so you can keep this in there or throw it away, whatever you choose to do with it. I know a lot of YouTubers were pretty upset about it because when you're doing eyeshadow looks, you want to have the name to refer to. That way people can follow along with the tutorial. So I can understand that, why a YouTuber would be upset about it. But for the everyday consumer that's just going to wear makeup, I don't really see it being a big deal. So that's why I'm not really listing it as a really big con, because for people that are just want to buy makeup and want a review of the product, they just really want to know the quality and what's inside the product. I would definitely 100 times would rather have a great quality shadow that blends on my eyelid than the name being printed on the pan. So that's why it's not really a con in my book. I just wanted to get that out there. And then another thing was the material of this palette. It is cardboard. It is not like the other Morphe palette material that is like this plastic material that, I mean, it does get dirty, but you can easily use a wet wipe or a washcloth to clean over it and it'll look just as new. The other one, the Jaclyn Hill palette, you do have to be a little bit more careful because A, it's white, so that's another thing, and it's just really hard to clean off this cardboard material because once it stains there, it's kind of just going to stay there. However, I've been really being super cautious of not trying to get like any fingerprints on it. I mean, I've kind of messed up already in some few spots, but it's bound to happen. I mean, if you love your makeup palettes, all my makeup palettes are dirty. So basically what I'm trying to say is don't let the packaging stop you from buying the palette. It is very beautiful and I think it's so worth it. Just because it has a little bit of imperfections, I can look past that just because I know she was trying to make it affordable to everyone. Now, moving on to the pros about the palette. I love everything about this palette, you guys. These shadows are just amazing. Like the color range is just perfect. You have your transition shades, your warm tones, and then you have like your fun, crazy, colorful shades, which I really love these colors. I tried to incorporate as many shades as I could today, but this palette is 35 shades, so obviously I couldn't use every single one of them. My definite standout shades of the whole palette would have to be, let me get my card. My standout shades of the palette would definitely be just the first row. Like, I love every shade of the row, of that row. The transition shades and all the shimmery shades are like an A+. All of the shimmery shades in this palette are that buttery Morphe consistency like you see in the 35O palette. They're super pretty and like creamy. I'm going to swatch some of these for you. I'll swatch Sissy and Queen. It's like I'm not even pressing hard on these shadows, and look how pigmented that is. Like, they're just so buttery, honestly. Especially Queen, like the shade, you guys, is amazing. And then this pink, bubblegum pink with the gold flecks to it. These shades are like perfect. I couldn't ask for a better shade range. Like, you have every shade that you absolutely need. I would basically take this traveling and only this palette because you literally have every color you could ever think of. Yeah, and with the mattes, I haven't ran into any that are patchy or super unblendable, even like the darker shades. The only one that kind of gave me some trouble was this dark purple right here, which is the shade Soda Pop. That was like the only one that was just a little bit too powdery or crumbly, if that makes sense. Like, it still blends pretty nice, but if you're not careful, it can look a little bit patchy, just like the slightest bit patchy. But even like throughout the whole palette, usually there's like half the shades you like and half the shades you don't like. Like this palette to have 35 shades and all of them to be equally amazing and the quality outstanding. It's just really, just blows my mind. Like, it's really hard to find a palette that's literally good. Every shadow is, you know, doesn't lackluster. So crazy how this palette is so transitional through all these seasons, because I feel like you have your summer shades and you definitely have your fall shades. So I feel like a lot of those pops of colors will work great for the springtime and summer. So this shade is really, really great for all year round. So honestly guys, if you are looking for a palette and you need a palette, definitely go with the Jaclyn Hill palette. She will not let you down. It is seriously a really great palette. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the Morphe Eyecredible brush set that I purchased also with the Morphe palette. I basically purchased this set because I wanted to get free shipping, because you get free shipping if you spend $75 on the website. So the palette costs $38 and the set that I'm about to show you only cost $24.99. Plus I got to use an influencer discount that saved me a couple of bucks. So it was definitely worth it. And the set that I am talking about is the Eyecredible brush set. This brush set comes with 12 brushes for the price of $25. So that basically runs you about $2 each brush. I've literally used every single brush in this set. I would definitely say it's worth it. You get a shader brush, which looks like this. It's just your average shader synthetic brush. And then you get this one, which I did use all these brushes in the tutorial except for one Wet n Wild brush. And then this one is perfect for just getting underneath the lash line and trying to diffuse shades. I really love that one. This one's really great to like clean up your eyebrows, because sometimes, you know, you want to get in there with the concealer, so this one's really good for that. All of these brushes right here are basically the same shape, but they're just like a tad bit smaller from one another. So this one, I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of like tapers at the very end, which is really helpful like if you want to kind of maybe get really close to your crease and just keep a very tight but diffused crease. And then this one is slightly larger than all of them, and that you can really just put any shade right in your lid or crease. And then this one's just a tad bit smaller where you can just kind of diffuse, which I like, is because you can like go in with this one and then go in with a slightly smaller one and then gradually, you know, work on your crease, which is really cool. And then you get these two smaller, I'm guessing this is goat bristles, which are the same basically shape, just like I said in the last two, smaller variations of one another. So this one's really good if you want to get like really detailed work in, and then this one's just good if you want to pack on a sparkly shimmer shade that is pretty hard to pick up with just synthetic bristles. And then the last three ones are this one, which has a spoolie at the end, so I guess it kind of is an extra. I don't use this for my eyebrows just because this is like really thick. It looks pretty thin like on the viewfinder, but it's actually pretty thick. So I would use this maybe to like cut out my eyebrow or something like that. I don't really use that one as much, but I do use it. And then you get like this eyeliner brush, which what I love to use this one for is like turn liquid lipsticks into eyeliner. So like use the Kylie liquid lipstick in the shade Candy Cane and I made it into eyeliner. This brush is really, really thin at the end, so you can definitely get like a sharp edge. So I definitely like this brush. If I had to choose one favorite brush out of the whole set, it would have to be this tiny, tiny little shadow pointer brush. I love this to just put in the inner corner. If I want to pack a really, really precise lower lash line, I can do this with this brush. I literally love this brush so much. So I would definitely give this set a 5 out of 5 just because I've used every single brush, and like if you can see, like they've all been used. They're literally so dirty. So definitely check this out, especially if you kind of just need to grow your eye brush set or you don't really have any. This is a really good deal for $2 each brush, and it's really great quality. Alright guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed and it was helpful and informative. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you did like this type of video. It helps me out a lot. And also I always post a new video every Friday, so definitely subscribe and I will see you in my next video.